Hey everybody, Howard Jacobson here, Chief of Behavioral Science at WellStart Health, co-author of Sick to Fit, host of the Plant Yourself podcast, and professional breather. You don't believe me? I've been doing it my whole life. Let's do it together right now. Make a little noise on the exhale, if you can, if you're in a safe spot. No heavy breathing. Just inhale through the nose. Let it out. One more. So that's my favorite stress busting technique. Just paying attention to the breath and letting the breath lead me, letting the breath guide me to what it wants to do. Its speed, its depth, its quality. Sometimes I prefer in and out through the nose, sometimes in through the nose, out through the mouth when I'm running and it's hard to get air in and out through the mouth. The breath is the modulator of mood, of emotion, and of our body's basic orientation towards life. And so I talked about yesterday about this idea of, what did I talk about yesterday? It's about don't get killed, right? This idea that when our bodies are in defensive mode. No, I didn't talk about that yesterday. That was a while back. Anyway, a couple of days ago. The prime directive is just to not get killed. And so Stephen Porges, in his work on the polyvagal theory, talks about something he calls biological rudeness. And he doesn't mean just, someone saying something mean or giving you the finger or whatever, but rudeness in terms of another organism acting towards us in such a way that puts us on the defensive. And so you can imagine this happening all sorts of different ways, from the people we interact with and from call centers who might not be helping us the way we want to be helped. Or imagine yourself working in one of those call centers or being a telemarketer and how people would treat you. And it's not like we get to decide how to respond to people in the moment. There's a lot of that programming that is just internal, that we as animals are reading other animals for signs of are they safe or not. And so when people are rude to us, or when we interpret through our filters, through our neuroception, our nervous system, through our history, through what we've been taught, what we've been conditioned, when we take something personally and feel like we have been slighted in some way, our body immediately goes into defense, right? Because this is an early warning signal of we might be in danger. Let's not get killed. And here's the thing about going into defense. Defense is entirely defensive. It's entirely protective against getting harmed or killed. It's the opposite of healing, of repair, of growth. The two systems don't coexist at the same time, or if they do at any point, it's always zero sum. So the more energy we put into defense, the less energy we can put into healing, repair, growth, consolidation of memory. And when we are in defense mode, we are in the limbic brain. We are in the let's get out of this trouble right now brain, as opposed to let's think strategically about getting what we want in the future brain, which means which means that it's very difficult to make good decisions, because the brain that makes good decisions long term, it makes good decisions about healing, about eating the right foods, about getting in a good hard workout, that part of the brain is offline. It is being subdued because it is thinking long term, and the organism has decided that we are in a crisis right now that has to be attended to by a very blunt instrument, the fight or flight part of the brain. Or if that doesn't work, or if we short circuit that through past programming, through our neurology, into the fold part of the brain, the play dead, hope nobody sees us, dissociate in case we get bitten so we don't die of shock. Right? So recognize that other people, the way other people treat us, can have a very significant impact on which mode our body is in and which mode our mind is in terms of making good choices. Now, we know this, that when we're stressed out, when people are mean to us, right, that there's parts of the brain that respond to hurt feelings in the same way as they respond to physical pain. So we know this, that when we're sad, when people are mean to us, when we have a breakup, we want to go dive into a pint of Ben and Jerry's. Right? So what can we do about it? So one thing is to recognize when people are being habitually rude to us, and to the extent that we can mitigate it, meaning drop those people, get out of their line of fire, right? If there are situations we're in, to the extent that we can not surround ourselves with people who are wounding us, the better. Now, it's obviously not always possible. People could be wounding us at work in random situations where we can't, bubble ourselves up. Even friends and family can inadvertently or advertently cause us pain. So if there are people with whom you can have conversations and say, hey, what you're doing here, here's how it's affecting me, and make requests. Those are, great strategies. Of course, the best book on negotiation, in my opinion, is Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. That's Voss. And you can check out on Plant Yourself. I believe it's 208, episode 208, maybe, is my interview with Chris Voss. Anyway, just go to plantyourself.com, and in the search bar at the top right, just type in VOSS or negotiation or whatever, and you will find that interview. So if you need to have some skills and strategies and mindsets for negotiating with people who are treating you poorly, that's a great resource. Another thing to do is, and this is a longer term play, is a cognitive approach, which is to not take it personally, to practice seeing other people's inept conversational gambits not as attacks on you, but as their stuff. So, if when my wife and I first met, she was an au pair in London, and the little boy she was taking care of would be running, and he'd fall down and hit his hands or his chest or his face on the sidewalk. He'd get very angry at the sidewalk. Why'd you do that? Right? And as he grew older, I'm certain that he understood that the sidewalk had no malice, that it wasn't out to get him, and he stopped being angry and insulted and affronted by the sidewalk. And likewise, we can make the same mental shift and decide not to be angry, affronted by the inelegant, awkward, clumsy conversational gambits that other people bring, or their attempts to hurt us because they're hurting. So we are able to see that it's not about us. Right? And finally, and this is the longest term of all, is to master our own neurology through breath practice, through various exercises, a lot of which we teach at WellStar Health, but you don't need us. You can find these sort of any physical approach to stress management. Simply lowering our daily adjutants level means that when people do rude things to us, it doesn't send us into the red zone. It may send us up a couple, but we're still in control of ourselves, and we still have our cognitive prefrontal abilities to recognize what's going on, to do that ninja trick of saying, oh, that this person is not attacking me on purpose, or it's not about me, it's about them, and bring ourselves back down. So the long term is this kind of stress busting that makes us immune, more or less immune, to verbal violence, in terms of it's not going to send us over the edge, or it won't send us over the edge very often, or it won't send us very far over the edge, right? Physical violence, we can always, physical threat, we have human thresholds, that there's only so, even if we're, a Navy SEAL, there's only only so much you can handle. But emotional, verbal rudeness, we can teach ourselves to be so centered, present, focused, that we don't let those things take us out of our prefrontal cortex into the limbic system, so that we are always able to make good choices. That's all I got for you today, with the exception of a reminder that Josh LaJaunie and I are holding a retreat in rural North Carolina, but it's only about 30 minutes from the main airport in the Triangle, or RDU Airport. And it's going to be November 14th through 17th. I've got a bunch of people who have already signed up for enrollment interviews, which is, we're not going to be doing this for, just letting people show up. We're going to make sure that we have the right people, and they're going to mesh with us and mesh with each other, and that their goals are compatible with what we're hoping to provide. If you're interested, I'm going to have on Monday, I'm going to have a page that describes it and a link, but I will put a link. Can I put a link right here, right now? Let's see. What does this button do? I think I can. Let me see if I can do this right now. I'm going to type I'm going to go find it. This is poor planning. I should have had this up already. Just give me a second here. This is me being okay with myself, even though it wasn't the smartest thing here. So here we go. And here is the link. Okay, got it. Copy. And I'm going to throw it right into the comments right here. If you're interested, this is the link to sign up for... Hello? Is this working? Apparently not. All right. Well, in that case, I will have to go in after this video, and when I edit the description, I'll put in a link where you can go sign up for that retreat enrollment interview. And if we decide we're a good fit, then we can go ahead and take care of the details. All right, well, that's it for me. Sorry about that little detour. I don't know why I can't make the chat thing work, but I can go de-stress now. We have the weekend. I hope everyone has been in the path of Dorian, is recovering, is safe, and look forward to seeing you all again on Monday. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye.